Japan. Today is the first official day back at school for the majority of my students after their summer break, which means semester 2 is starting. I know in the States you guys are all starting, or you're already in the swing of the new school year. We're right in the middle of ours. And the tension between communities is becoming more obvious right now. Myself and a number of the more international friends that we have here are all in between things and feeling some tension with what to do next, what all we're supposed to keep in our lives, how to keep balanced with the fall and coming holidays, and wanting to see family or missing family we saw over the holidays. I would ask that you pray for us as we figure that out. There's a lot of new things that can happen, and that's exciting, and there's a lot of things that are on pause and waiting for decisions or on whether people are willing to spend money on them. We're getting back into the swing of our schedule. Little Johnnie went back to school today. He couldn't find his shoes, but we got them figured out, and he did well. We've had some really great times this past month. Through August, we've gotten to meet with some good friends from Tokyo and meet their newest baby, which was a joy, and get to bless them. I've jumped into planning season, I guess. I got to throw a baby shower yesterday for 2 friends here who are due next month. One of them, it's their first. One of them, it's their third. Very different backgrounds, and that was an adventure trying to figure out how to put it together, since baby showers aren't a thing here, and that's something we get to bring to the table, but fitting it in here and convincing them to let us just love on them and just be able to receive it is a challenge at times. But it worked out beautifully. It was small, it was fun. Some of the other guests brought their kids, and that chaos brought all kinds of other drama and fun to the party. There's more of that to come. Right now, we're starting to get ready for the fall festival, which will use a lot of my costuming stuff. Still waiting on the official theme. And our friends who are getting married in the fall. Whatever help we're doing for that will be starting soon. So I'm glowing in that realm. I love that side of things, but it carries its own letdown and its own dramatic side. So working through that one step at a time, but it is a highlight in my year. So I'm excited to jump into that. September for us, coming from the States, always feels like a time that's supposed to be new things beginning, new schedules, new activities, new subjects. We don't really have that in our schedules here. Last year it wasn't as strong of an inclination that I had, but this year is better. I feel like it's more letting God do it, or He somehow worked it in without me feeling an urgency to go after things outside of what was going on. The other thing that we had touched on for our intercession team and wanted to fill you in on is Obon finished. The holiday they believe the ancestors come back to visit their families in their old homes has come and gone. We had all kinds of weird dreams, and then they stop really suddenly as it finishes. I'm getting a couple that are dragging out, but it's much better. Little Johnnie this year for the first time ended up dealing with some new things. We did a movie night during that week called Kubo. The movie's called Kubo, and it's a Japanese story done in stop animation by American companies, and it has some creepy characters, and little Johnnie was struggling with being okay with part of the story. And on our way home afterwards, we made it through. He had a lot of questions, and we ended up having a talk about why we came to Japan, that there aren't the same ideas here that we grew up with, and the monsters in the story that are trying to take your eyes or follow you at night and steal from you and harm you are not the Jesus that we know and that we serve, and that we came to Japan, we left our families and our home in the States to tell Japanese people that while there are scary things out there that are aiming to harm you, there is someone bigger and who is loving and who's kind, and we want to share that with them and learn how to love them the way they need to be loved. And so he got to learn some of that story and get a little bit more of that understanding, which lately, I mean, we're not in a usual Sunday service, and so he's not in Sunday school, and trying to figure out how best to equip him and help him learn what he's able at this age from the Word and about Jesus, and come to know him on his own. And through that is a specific challenge that we've been working through lately, and trying to figure out how to do that best at this point in time. That night was a really big connection for us as a family, of being able to connect those dots of this is some of what they deal with here. These are real, even though these were animated characters, of the destruction and the greed and just the harm that's aimed towards us. And in this land, what light can Jesus bring? And as he's learning that, understanding that was why we came, and that's a part of our whole purpose. Those questions continue to come up, and during that whole week of Obon, he was having trouble sleeping and dealing with fears, and we got to work through a lot of that. It was good. And the second that holiday week was over, his fears were gone too. There was so much that was going on. It was hard to pinpoint all of it, but it was good, and it helped us grow and go further as a family. A couple things specifically. There's a church in a nearby city that for the first time Johnnie has been asked to speak at. Big Johnnie, not little Johnnie. And we've been in contact with them in close connection to a good number of their members for the majority of the time we've lived here. We've brought other people there who they've asked to speak in the services for a few minutes. This is the first time they've ever offered him a platform of that nature, other than like come play piano or drums at cafe night type things. So they have asked him to come and speak about prayer, and the purpose of prayer and what it's meant to be. Johnnie's trying to organize his thoughts. This could go a million different directions with our background. Like, he has so much to draw from. We're praying and asking the Lord for clear discernment as to what they'll be able to receive and what is best for this season that they're in right now. The church generally follows the church calendar, the liturgical calendar, and are very strict about certain points, asking the Lord where he should ask things or bring up points that may be stretching to them. We're excited, we're nervous, and that same day, my boss is performing in an opera, so it will be a very full day for us all the way around. But we're trusting that he will give the right words to say and that it will go well and not be a make or break it with our connection to this church. There have been a lot of mini dramas in relationships between some of the college kids that we work with lately. And as is common with young romance, we were really worried that it would affect people's relationship with the Lord and with the community we've built, that during breakups people would just leave and that would be the end of any Christian community they have. And trying not to take that on ourselves, but asking the Lord like how to check in with them in appropriate ways. And there's one student that we were especially worried about. She's not a believer yet. We had concern that this would be just a cutoff point for her, but we've gotten to check in, and it seems like, thank God, she is still willing to be meeting with us. She wants to continue studying the Word, and she has made a clear line between, this was a relationship and it's disconnected now, but it is not equivalent to my connection with the Lord, and that is important enough that she wants to hold on to and keep pursuing. We are so excited to get to do that with her. My husband came back from that meeting just glowing, and our international friends are struggling right now. A lot of our connections with these students are going really well currently, and again, September is, even though it's not a school year starting, it is a transitionary time, and there are a lot of things that are feel like they're just getting going right now. Thank you for watching, for listening, and standing with us. We ask that you would keep us in prayer as we move forward. And if there's anything else that you'd like to know or hear more about, please do contact us. We're still here, and God's been so good. Thank you.